Welcome to the webinar tonight. Hopefully you're here because you've come to optimize your LinkedIn profile. We're going to give a couple of minutes just to let people arrive, get logged in, do all the technical things they need to do to make sure they're joining us. So if you're already here and with me, do me a favor, drop it in the chat and let me know where you're watching from, because in the last few weeks we've attracted viewers and participants in these webinars from 4 different continents. So it'd be great to find out where you're watching from, and let's see if we can get more people involved from different continents. It'd be great if we could. So let's see who's with us tonight. I see there's already 1 or 2 in there. Abigail Ames, I see you there. She's one of our staff members. It's already checking in. She's probably just checking me out and making sure everything's going well tonight. We've got Maverick, obviously, you're with us. So in the chat tonight, we've got people who will be watching over the chat side of it. And if you're asking questions, they'll be pointing that out to me. I'll address them as we go. And they'll also maybe answer some of those questions for you before I even get to them. Educated Learning Designs from Georgia, USA. Welcome. Nice to have you with us. Who else have we got? I'm just having a quick look around. There's quite a number of names. Monica and Trevor, Amin. It's me, Luke, too. Is that the Luke? I wonder. Biplab Das from India. It must be quite late in India. So thank you for joining us tonight. So that's really good. And Francis. And as I said, any questions you've got tonight, you can drop them in the chat. I'll address them as we go throughout this webinar tonight. So feel free to ask any questions you want. We're going to be looking at the LinkedIn profile. How do we optimize it? How do we get it working for you? So just a few seconds more and we'll allow people just to get logged in. Where we got Light Collective TV from Hartlepool. Oh, my old neck of the woods. As you can probably tell by my accent, I'm originally north of England. I'm actually from a town just near Darlington, for all those who know the north of England a little bit better. But currently living down here in Plymouth at the moment. Been down here for 7 years. It's a great place to live. So welcome to everybody who's joining us. As I say, keep those coming in. I think I've spotted 3 different continents so far. AJ from London, we're all good. For all of you that are in the UK, you're probably looking for, we're a couple of weeks away, or is it a week away now, from restrictions being removed and a bit of more freedom coming, and we're all looking forward to it. And we've been running these webinars throughout the last 12 months just to really help businesses. One of our mandates as a business is we want to help 1 million businesses to grow and just to expand, to grow their sales, their revenue, their margins, and we just want to help where we can. So tonight, we're going to be focusing on your LinkedIn profile. I don't know about you, but I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn and I see some really poor LinkedIn profiles. And so tonight, hopefully the tips that you go away with, the suggestions, the ideas, you'll be able to implement them straight away and get things working for you. Okay. So we've got quite a number, I'm just looking at some stats on screen. We've got quite a number of people with us. And so I'm going to make a start. And I'll start by introducing myself. As you probably see, my name is already on screen there, and you've probably seen that on the advert. But my name is Terry Heath, and I'm the Managing Director here at MAVERRIK. Now, MAVERRIK itself, we've existed since 2014 with training, consulting, and coaching businesses of all different sizes, everything from the sole entrepreneur right up into the big company enterprises. And we enjoy what we do, we love what we do, we love helping people to grow their businesses. So let me start by introducing you with a little bit of background information, what we're going to do tonight, and let's go to the first slide. So right now, so who is this webinar for? So it's for anyone who is looking to sell your products or your services on LinkedIn. It's also for anyone, if you're looking to establish thought leadership on LinkedIn. This is a great way, so that's for you. But this is also going to be useful to anybody who is looking for to be recruited on the platform as well, because a lot of what I'm going to tell you tonight, a lot of the tips, a lot of the guidance that I'll give tonight in the training in this webinar will help you to be recruited as well. So you've probably realized in the last 12 months there's been a big shift to digital platforms. We all know the reason why. I won't mention it because YouTube doesn't like me saying those sort of words, but there has been a big shift. And we got a statistic up here right now. And 80% of sales professionals shifted to virtual selling in the last 12 months. 80%, that's huge. All those sales guys that were out there, the usual site visitors, they had to learn new skills and get onto platforms where they could continue to still hit those sales targets, but in a different way. And digital platforms was the place to come to. So LinkedIn has seen a massive growth. 57% of sales professionals finding that social selling is more effective than the traditional approach that they were doing. 57% are finding it far more effective. And 46% of sales professionals expect to retain social selling beyond the next 12 months. So right now there's been a real boost on digital platforms, which means that you need to be geared up to stand out from the crowd. You've got to make yourself known and be there, because right now the people you want to do business with don't know that you exist. And if your LinkedIn profile isn't working for you, you might remain in that place where they just don't know you exist. But tonight, hopefully, I'm going to show you how to put your LinkedIn profile together in such a way that you start attracting the right attention. I mentioned just now that LinkedIn has had big growth, and you'll see over here that 62 million users joined LinkedIn in 2020. 62 million joined the platform in 2020 alone, and that figure is still growing and growing. I think there's a statistic out right now. I think it's one person every 5 minutes is joining the platform. And it continues to grow and grow. So as I said, it's important that you stand out on the platform and don't get just lost in the crowd. So why is it important to optimize your LinkedIn profile? Well, simply put, if you've got a bad profile, this is what's going to happen. You're going to limit your profile views. That's the amount of people coming and checking you out. That will be limited. If you've got a bad profile, you will hinder your search appearances. You'll hinder people actually finding you through searching options on the platform. You'll stagnate your connections. And some of you might be in that situation tonight where you've been looking at your connections, you think, my network's not growing, I'm not getting more connections, what's going on? And you can even damage your brand. I have seen some profiles that are so badly put together or just incomplete that when I go and check out their company, if that's what I'm seeing from the individual, I already have an impression about that company, about its brand. And so you can actually be damaging your brand with a poor profile on LinkedIn. And most of all, if you're trying to do business and you want to sell, one of the things you could be doing is undermining your credibility on the platform with having a bad profile. Now, if we flip that around, what happens if you've got a good profile? Well, simply put, you will increase your profile reviews simply by having a good optimized profile. You will increase your sales, your search appearances simply by having a good optimized profile. You'll increase your connections because people will be coming to find you. And you'll increase your brand awareness because by them coming to your profile, they're going to end up on your company page. They become known more about you and your business and what you do. And you'll increase your credibility on the platform purely by having things set up in the right way. So, how does your LinkedIn profile work for you? So one of the questions we get asked, why are we optimizing? Why is it? What is actually going on with my profile if I get it set up right? Well, simply put, every time that you post content on the LinkedIn platform and people will come and interact with it, they will probably come and check you out. If someone stumbles across you for the first time, sees something interesting that you said, they're going to click on your profile picture and come to your profile and have a look. So the first thing you need to do is make sure that your profile is in good shape. Or when they arrive, there's nothing for them to read. There's nothing for them to see. They're not learning much about you. The other thing is when you send a connection request, and this is a common thing that we get with our clients and new people we're working with, is they wonder, I send connection requests all the time, but nobody seems to be accepting. And the reason can be is that they're coming to your profile and they're not seeing much. There's not a lot for them to see. You're not adding to any credibility. Your brand itself is being damaged. So you need to make sure your profile is in good shape. Sending those connection requests and getting those connections accepted is one of the key things to do on LinkedIn. When you leave a comment, so let's say you want to attract the attention of a prospective buyer, and you're interacting with their content and they see you and you stand out, because the average person on LinkedIn will probably only get 4 or 5 comments at best. So if you're one of those, they will get curious. They will come to where? Your profile. So you need to make sure your profile is set up. And also when you send a message. If you're using Sales Navigator, one of the subscription models, you've got the opportunity for in-mails, which means you can message people who aren't even your first-degree connections. Now, if you're messaging people with your in-mail allowance each month, and I think it's 20 for the standard, 30 for the higher package, you could be wasting those in-mails every month, because when people get your message and then think, who is this? And they come and check out your profile, there's nothing to see. So we want to make sure you're in good shape so you can make the most of your posted content, you make the most of those connection requests sent, you make the most of the comments that you're leaving, and when you send a message, people are responding to you. If I put it simply, being on LinkedIn ultimately is about getting a conversation that leads to a sale. And it starts with your profile being in good shape. People will visit your profile, so you better make sure it's in good shape. Okay, I want to try and help you frame this a little bit, and I want you to think of your profile as if it's your personal landing page. Most of us, if you've been involved in business, you've got your own website or whatever, you'll have a landing page, and on that landing page is your product or your service, and there's information there, there's calls to action on there, there's stuff going on that landing page. So I want you to think as your profile on LinkedIn just like a landing page. We want to deliver the right information, present it in the right way, and get people to take action. So, what makes a good LinkedIn profile? Let's have a look. So, I'm actually using my own profile, so I'm putting myself in the spotlight here. But as you can see, there's some key things about the profile. One of the key things that you need to be looking at is that this space here is the header space. This is your largest marketing space you're going to get on this platform. So when people come to your profile, make sure that this space is used wisely. So for example, here on my own, we have our company name is there. We have how we deliver the content that we do through training, coaching, and consulting. We're making it very clear in bold letters. It's digital sales training, aka relational and social selling strategies that deliver on day one. It's that simple. So we want to make sure that our header is used wisely. You've got this space, so use it. Whatever you do, do not leave it with the default LinkedIn blue background. It just screams, I haven't bothered, I've not done anything. If you can't do anything else, or you don't have the resources to do something like this, then at least get yourself to Unsplash or go to Canva or one of those sites and get a picture, just a stock picture that relates to what you do, to your industry, to something that is applicable to you. So that when people come, they see something that tells them or informs them about something. If you can simply get your company name up there, get a bit of branding on your header, but use the space wisely. If you've got access to graphics teams and they can put something together like this, then do so. In fact, here at MAVERRIK, we'll have our headers and we'll probably change them once every 3 months, if not a little bit more frequent. We use the space to advertise our products and our services, and we want to make sure that people get the information that we want to deliver. So this is your header. The next part that I want to look at is this, your profile picture. Now, you've probably seen it. You've been on LinkedIn, you've gone around, people send you connection requests, and there's no profile picture. Either they haven't bothered to put one up, or they've actually got their settings put in a certain way that it doesn't appear until you're a first-degree connection. That's a mistake. Remember, LinkedIn is a social platform. People doing business with people. So why would you hide your picture? Or why wouldn't you upload who you are, your face? Because people warm to people at the end of the day. So you want to get connected. So let them see you, have a nice picture. Now, some tips about your picture. Not 20 years ago and not 20 pounds ago. Keep it current, keep it nice and fresh, pretty recent one. I think this one, I was forced by the staff in our office to change mine very recently because my previous one was slightly doctored and I looked a little bit younger than I actually am. And so they twisted my arm and made me change it in the last few days. But get a picture that shows you, just a nice head and shoulders, mainly your face filling most of that circle, and so that people can clearly see who you are. Don't use the ones from your holidays or from your weddings. Girls, I know you look really pretty in your wedding dresses, but don't use it on LinkedIn. It's not very businessy. And I think for me, the worst one that I ever saw was working with a client, and we went through his profile, came to that picture, and he had a picture of himself on holiday in his Speedos, reclining on a sunbed, cocktail in hand. Gotta admit, it wasn't the most attractive picture I'd ever want to see. And so we did suggest he probably would change it. So make sure you've got a good profile picture. It's nice and clear, it's you. If you get a picture with a fairly a solid color background behind you, if you've got access to graphics, get somebody to put a colored background behind you. You'll see on mine's got a slight colored ring around it. And that's purely there to make me stand out in the notification feeds and on the feeds, the news feeds of people's accounts. When they come in the morning, I want my pictures to stand out. So it's just got a little colored ring, just makes it pop out a little bit. So think about your picture, be wise with the one that you choose and get it up there. You don't need a professional to take a headshot. Just get somebody in good lighting to take a good head and shoulders shot of you, get it edited and get it onto your LinkedIn profile. Now, the next part down is your name. You want to make sure that you can be found easily on LinkedIn. Now, I'm a great example of this because my full name, my full birth name is Terence Paul Heath, a name I very rarely ever use unless it's on some official form. So everywhere I go, here tonight I introduce myself. If I'm at live in-person events in the future, I'll be introducing myself as Terry Heath. And that is what people will then go to LinkedIn to search, is Terry Heath. Now, if I set up my profile with my official name of Terence Heath, they're going to struggle to find me because they're going to have to figure it out and search a long time until they find the Terence Heath who's actually to them known as Terry Heath. So if you're known as Andy, you're known as Mike instead of Michael or Andrew, use those names. If you're known as Joe instead of Joanna, use that. Use what people know you by. Keep it familiar to the people that you want to connect with. If that's how you introduce yourself, it's how your emails go out, then make it nice and easy for people to find you. Now, another tip about your name, don't go tempting to put all of your qualifications behind. Yeah, as you can see, I've not included all my doctorates, my MBAs or anything like that. That's probably because I don't have any. But I haven't put anything like that. If you put all of those letters and that, and it's great, it's your qualifications, you work hard for them, but if you put them behind your name, what you're doing is complicating the search string for people to find you on LinkedIn. All of that information can be found lower down in your profile, so when people come, they'll scroll down, they'll see all of that, and you can talk about your qualifications and your experience in your profile further down. But keep your name simple as people know you and let yourself be found very easily when people search. The next part down after that is this area here, which we call the headline. Now, most people will just put in there their job title. Simple as that. As you can see on mine, I've got MD at MAVERRIK. So I see a lot of people who would, in my case, would probably just put Managing Director at MAVERRIK, and that's it. But here's one of the things you need to know about that headline. It's the same with your profile picture and your name and your headline. Everything that you do on LinkedIn, so when you like somebody's post, you comment on somebody's post, you send the message, you interact in any way on the platform, you send connection requests, what follows you everywhere on LinkedIn is your profile picture, your name, and that headline. So use the headline, use it wisely, like it was your calling card. So when you visit somebody's profile and they see it in their notifications, you're using the space to tell them what you deliver for them. So my example here, we've got consulting, corporate training, coaching, social selling, value proposition, turning cold callers into digital sales performers. Those words are there specifically to be found in searches. I'm using the principles of SEO and keywords to make sure that my profile is found by the people I want to do business with. So I'm letting people know when they visually see it, this is what I do, this is what our company is doing day in and day out, but I'm also using keywords to make sure that as people are doing their searches, they can find me using those keywords. So I'm making sure my profile picture, my name, and that headline are all working together. Wherever I go on the platform, it's working for me. So think about it. How can you, let's say, put your headline in one sentence, what you do, what you deliver, what you can do for people in one line. Have a look and think about that. Okay, I'm just being alerted. There's been a question. How would you best use the header for advertising yourself versus your company or industry? Well, the header space up here, if you're a, let's say, let me reread the question, make sure I'm addressing it properly. Header for advertising yourself versus your company. So let's say you're a sole entrepreneur and it's just you, or you are a coach, a sole entrepreneur is a consultant or something like that, then talk about that. I'm assuming that you'll have a corporate brand, a name, something like that on there. So then use that space, have it up there, have it clear. But most important thing is let people know in this space what you do. What do you deliver for them? If someone has a pain point, how do you solve it? What is the thing? So we're talking here about relational and social selling strategies that deliver on day one. So if you've got sales teams that are underperforming right now because of what's happened in the last year, you need to come and talk to us because we specialize in digital sales training. And we'll do that through relational social selling strategies that deliver. So we're telling people what we can do for them, how we would deliver, what are the areas that we would cover. So make sure that's there. So if it's you as an individual, treat yourself as if you're the company brand, which you are, and make sure that it's nice and clear, it's up there. Go and have a look around LinkedIn. Go and check out some people's profiles. Go and have a look at what other people are doing. Take the good that you see and use it yourself. That's one of the quick and easiest tips, is just have a look what other people are doing, particularly the accounts with large followings. You know, they've got their account set up, they've got their 30,000 or so followers. Go check them out. Come and check mine out. Come and check out a gentleman called Dean Seddon or Vasco Botello. It's a bit harder to spell that one. But go and check out some of the guys at Maverick and see what they have done, how it's all set up on their accounts. Come and take some examples from that. I hope I answered that question. Oh, yes, Catherine, I love your comment. Please, I'm begging you, don't use emojis in your headline. Please, 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 don't go using emoji. No, hi, happy smiley faces and things like that. It just, no, one, they're not searchable things, items. But also, personal opinion, it cheapens a little bit your profile. And if you're trying to project yourself, unless humor, you're one of those laughter coaches or something like that, maybe that might work. But if you're trying to sell a product or service in some way, then try and avoid, well, not try, just avoid emojis. Any suggestions about how to separate keywords and concepts in the heading? We would always recommend, if you're struggling how to sum it, think of yourself, how would I sum up what I do for individuals in one sentence, and write it as just one sentence. So it covers no more than these 3 lines that you've got there. If you're looking to use keywords like I've done, I've used just simple arrows just to point and do stuff just as separators between the keywords, just to keep it there and to keep it on. Now, if you're wondering which words should I be using, one of the truths about your LinkedIn profile is you might want to, and I'm going to cover this in a few minutes, is you might want to play around a little bit with certain words and have a look, do a little bit of searching around. If you've got competitors, what are they saying? What have they got in their bios? What's in their headlines? Have a little look and make sure you're using the right keywords. But just do the research and make sure you've got a headline that is working for you. Remember, it's going to follow you everywhere on LinkedIn. So make sure it acts like your calling card and gives people the information that they need. What's that question? Can you get a template to make sure header and picture can be seen on mobile? It's worth doing. If you're setting up your profile and you're doing, then go and test it. Check it out. What does it look like on LinkedIn? There are various apps like Canva and others that you can use where they have set templates for designing your header. So Canva, Unsplash, Pixel LR, I've seen another one. They all have a template for LinkedIn headers. So they're great. So you can use those and then it'll optimize and make sure it works across all the platforms. If you want any more information about that sort of stuff and you want any tips or hints, then just email us simply at hi@Maverick. One of the guys will put it up on screen right now, hi@maverick.co.uk. Drop us an email. We're always happy to help where we can and point you in the right direction. So use that email if you want to get in touch. So header. Make sure you've got a nice clear header that tells people what you do. Your profile picture, nice and clear, head and shoulders, a nice current picture. It shows your face off well. Make your name as easy to find as possible. Put the name in that everybody knows you by. And then your headline, make sure it's delivering the information. Tell people what you can do for them. What can you deliver that would help them? Have that information available. So working down your profile now, we're going to come into the About section. Now the About section, you want to make sure that it's not War and Peace. You don't want this thing to go on for pages and pages and pages. You just want to make it short and sweet. So as you'll see on mine, the example there, I'm talking about our company, Maverick, very first and foremost. So I'm delivering information about that. Then at the bottom, I talk about me personally and what I've done and just list some achievements. What I'm looking to do is give people information and build credibility so that people, when they come to do business, one, they know a little bit about me. So I'm building up a picture of who I am, building credibility with that person and just developing a trust with them. They know more about our company because I'm talking about Maverick. And they'll get other information throughout my profile as well. But as I say, don't make it War and Peace. It doesn't need to be pages and pages long. Keep it nice and clear. Don't make it big blocks of text, big paragraphs of text. Try and keep your paragraphs to no more than 3 lines. It just makes it easy for people to digest the information and to read it. You will find that if people come to your bio and all that they see are big chunky paragraphs, they're probably not going to read it and move on. So anything that you wrote in there, any information you were hoping to deliver in that section, you lost the opportunity to do so. So keep it short, keep it to the point, and make sure it's nice and clear to read. Again, have a look at some of the other people around on LinkedIn. Have a look at a little of different examples. If you're struggling, how do I put my bio together? Now, just let me get a drink for a second. One of the sections that a lot of people ignore is called the featured section. Now, the featured section is a great opportunity for you to do some marketing. You're going to get the opportunity to profile your courses or your products. You can profile case studies, testimonials, free downloads, PDF slides. All sorts of different things can be used in your featured section. If you've never used it before or you haven't got it on your profile, go to your settings and activate that thing, and you just select it and make it active. Once it's active, you can add things in there. And so you can see on mine, just on the screenshot there, we're advertising our accelerator program. This is one of the programs that we run week in and week out for individuals, and really will accelerate sales in the next 90 days. So I've got that in our featured section. That's my number 1. Next to that is social selling on LinkedIn, which is another one of our digital sales training courses that we do right across the board, from individuals right up into the large corporates as well. Just off screen, you can see one. It says how to write. It's actually how to write content that creates customers. And that is a download that's on our shop. So I can put up various things up there. Now, I've seen some companies use this really, really well, where they'll have testimonials. They'll have just a range of testimonials of different aspects or different clients that they work with, what they've delivered. So it's a great way to use it like that. You can also, I mentioned, put up their case studies. They're great. So what is that service or product that you have? How is it being applied? How have you used it with a company? What were the outcomes? So in that case study, you get to do it. So they see that, they click on. So these individuals that come to your profile to learn a little bit more about you and about your company, you should be using the featured section to help educate them. Because the more that they interact with the content on your profile, the more credible you become, the more trusted you become, because you're evidencing what you do, the outcomes that you can deliver, the pain points that you can help people resolve. You evidencing that on your profile, and the featured section is one of the great ways to do that. So use it wisely. If you're not using it, get it activated, get it up on your profile, get it populated. It takes no more than about 5 or 10 minutes to do. Quickly putting in some URL links to landing pages on your website, to blog sites maybe. You can even link posts that you've done on LinkedIn that may have been very successful and have great content in them. So use that featured section, educate people about who you are and what your company can do through that section. Okay, so Joanne, I hope I just answered your question there, where you just said, I'd love to hear what you would have to say about blogs and where would you suggest these would go on your profile. How can I make the most of them, please? Blog posts, great place to put them, is in the featured section. If you've got a particular blog that a lot of people have interacted with, you've got a lot of engagement on, then use that as one of your featured, one of the items in your featured section. You can also use blogs and repurpose them as articles on LinkedIn as well, and upload them and use them in the post content as well as in articles. One of the great things about articles is that they stay on your profile in a separate section, and they're easy to find under the content side. Unlike a post, it rolls round and round, and every post just drops that post further and further down the list. Articles are much easier to find, and they're great at being a long form where you can speak at length about your product or service and talk about your expertise. Forgive me, my voice is breaking up tonight. Okay, let me move on. Let's have a little bit of a time check. I want to leave some time for questions at the end. So keep those questions coming. If you've got any right at the end, we'll do that. What I'm going to do now is show you the dashboard. Now, as you can see here on the screen that we've got, I took a clip of mine early this morning, just after I'd posted, and it gives you certain bits of information. What I want to do now is just flick over into LinkedIn. I'm going to show you some stuff that you can do on your LinkedIn profile. Oh, all these people are suddenly messaging. Let's get rid of these. Right. So let me just scroll down to my dashboard. So here we go. So as you can see on screen at the moment, 2,878 who viewed your profile. If you click into that, it will take you through to some of the analytics on that. And it's now going to show you a chart of who viewed your profile in the last 90 days. Now, if you're on a free version of LinkedIn, you will see a limited number of people underneath. It will show you who those individuals were that visited your profile. So you'll probably see around about 5 or 6 of them. If you have a subscription, you'll find that you can keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and keep scrolling down the page. In fact, I've never tried going back. I think I've gone back about 3 or 4 weeks, but it will just keep going and going. And you can see who has actually visited your profile. So why is that important? Well, the first thing you need to be doing is look at this section and check out who is actually coming to your profile. Check out their job titles. So if your prospective clients are all directors, owners of companies, C-suite people, you want to be attracting these people to your profile through your content that you post, through the messaging that you're doing, through the connections that you're putting out. These are hopefully your audience. But if you come here and you find that the people you're attracting are garage mechanics, window cleaners, there's something wrong in your profile. You need to change the wording. The keywords aren't there for people to look at, or just the way that it's set up doesn't portray what the message that you want to deliver to that audience. So use the information carefully. Now, if you are on subscription, you'll be able to look along. I'm not sure if this is available on the free, it maybe is that you can segment the list of people and have a look at the interesting views. So interesting views, it tells me in bold here, this is the CEO of MAVERRIK, this is Dean Seddon, and so he's a senior leader in my particular industry. So LinkedIn says this will be someone of interest to you. Oops, I'm clicking along, I shouldn't be. Let me get back to where I was. And so I can look down now, all the people of interest, more senior leaders in the industry. Emmanuel here works at SEMLab. This is one of our clients we've been working with recently, so it's highlighting that. Other people from other clients we work with. So there's a number of people there that it's highlighting. It tells me that there's 4 of them were self-employed. I've got 9 people who work for MAVERRIK. I'd expect that. We're always active. I've got a lot of people from Upwork at the moment checking out my profile, and I've got 56 job titles of athletics, fitness and recreation professionals. It sounds unusual that I'll be after them, but actually we've been doing a lot of work with, or we're targeting a lot of people in the fitness industry at the moment for a webinar that's coming up very shortly. So I'm really happy to see that 56 of the people that have come to mine are from that particular industry. So they're coming out and checking out. So they obviously got my messages, and hopefully we'll see them on that webinar in a couple of weeks' time. And it's telling me that 383 people found me via their homepage. So the homepage that's on your account, when it goes through, you'll have seen those suggestions. Are you popping up in those suggestions on people's homepages and people clicking on it and coming through? And so this is all information that helps you to understand if your profile is working for you. So don't ignore it just because it's a chart. A lot of people just forget this stuff. Actually take interest in what's going on your account. Regularly check out. It's also a good hunting ground for new contacts. So if I go back to, let me just go back to all viewers. I can look down here. So we've got a financial recruiter here. If I wanted to connect, I can click that and send off a connection request. Professional services team leader, that's Jay, one of our staff. Connecting businesses to the ideal client. So there's a number of people there that I'd be looking down and think, okay, I'm not connected with them at the moment. They've been checking me out. Would I want to connect with them? Portfolio manage for business programs. It's as simple as I just click connect and I've invited him. There we go. That's simple. So you can be growing your network while you're checking out who's coming to your profile. And if you're attracting the right people and they're checking you out, then time and time again, you can be coming here and connecting with people and finding out if your profile is working correctly for you. Right, let me just navigate back to my profile, get me back down to the dashboard, because there's another area that I want to show you. Actually, there's something that I missed out that I wanted to say before I got into that, which is this area here. As you'll see on my particular profile, it says All Star. Now, All Star means that I've completed the full setup for my profile. I've filled in all the boxes, ticked all the boxes that need to be done, and now LinkedIn qualifies me as All Star status. Now, if you haven't done that, you'll have intermediary or beginner or whatever it is, and there'll be a bar that runs across. Often it's colored, and then there might be 1 or 2 bars empty at the end. If you click on there, it will tell you what you need to do. Spend 5-10 minutes at most completing those boxes, that part of your profile that are still missing, and then you'll qualify for All-Star status. Why is that important? If you are going to post regularly on LinkedIn, and we would encourage you to post regularly, that's what helps you get success on the platform. If you are going to do that and to post regularly, you want to get the maximum engagement on your post content. If you are not All-Star, you will lose 15% of the possible engagement. 15%, just purely because you haven't got All-Star status. It's almost like the LinkedIn algorithm says, look, this person's not serious, they haven't completed their profile, why should we push and promote their content? So give yourself the full advantage of completing a profile, get it to All-Star status, and then you'll give your content the biggest push possible. So get that sorted. So having mentioned the who viewed your profile, the next one I want to look at is search appearances. So these are people searching on the platform, using keywords, using all the filters that are available, particularly in Sales Navigator, and they're looking for it. So it will tell me and give me a snapshot of who out of the 689, who are those companies. So I've got MAVERRIK. I would expect that. We're constantly doing searches for various reasons, various projects, for various clients all the time. But I've got Goldman Sachs, who've been there. Now, I know, having done training, doing training regularly and covering this point, that Goldman Sachs have been on my list regularly now for the last 2 to 3 weeks. So I'm very interested. I'll be doing some background work and looking at who are those individuals, trying to track down why are they connecting with me, what are they coming to look at, because obviously Goldman Sachs is a very big company. Livermore Capital. I expect to see Livermore Capital. Why? Is because they're a client of ours and we've been working with them, as with Smurfit Kappa and Consult Hyperion Management Consulting. I don't know them. So I can simply, if I want to know a little bit more, just click into there. I'm having a look now. Who's doing these searches? What are they about? So strategic advisory, technical experts and payments, identify, we secure transactions. I don't know this company. I can do a little research. I can get a list of who works there. I've got some connections that obviously work here. There's 51 employees. I can check out the employees. There may be some interesting people in amongst there that I'd want to connect with. So I can use the information that I find in my own profile to help me find my clients. Hopefully, if my profile is working for me, I'm attracting the right people already. The job I have to do then is go back and start building a rapport with them, start connecting with them and building a relationship online, the whole aspect of social selling. If you're interested, and I'll just mention it at this point, if you're interested in learning more about social selling, what I'm showing you tonight is just the very, very beginnings of how you put your profile together and all the information you can use in your profile to give you success on LinkedIn. But we do a full course that covers all the aspects of social selling and gets you success. And we run that, and it's a 90-day course, and it's called the Accelerator. And if you want to know more about that, we'll put up a slide at the end just to give you some information. But it's been a very, very successful course, and a lot of people have found success through that one. So what else information, what other information do we get for those doing searches? It will tell you who are the searchers, who are the people actually putting these searches together. So at the top of mind, salespeople, executive directors, founders, business strategists, marketing specialists, all the sort of people I would expect to be doing searches and for me to be appearing in their lists. I want to be found on the platform, and I'm being found by the right people. So use the information. Is your profile working for you or against you? Are you attracting the right people? So right at the bottom, it'll even tell me the keywords that the searchers used, which was operations manager and head of training. So all of these words are available in my profile, and that's why I was found and I came up on their lists. So use the information available to you. Make sure your profile's working for you. Okay, so that is your dashboard. Let's come back to the presentation. So after your dashboard, get that complete. Remember what I said, all-star status. Make sure that's all in good order. You've got then your experience section. Now, a lot of people just put a headline in and there's nothing else in there. Make sure you just list out. Let people see your progression. Let's see people see the mix of industry. If you go and visit mine, you'll see there's a real mix of different industry sectors on there, which is what gives me the advantage that I've got quite a wide scope of experience. And letting people see that means that when I'm talking to them and I say, hey, I can tell you about this and I can tell you about that, they know I'm speaking from a place of credibility because I've spent years in certain industry sectors and different industries. And that's all visible on my profile. So make sure you complete your experience. Go back. Obviously, you don't. If you've been in work for the last 40 years, you don't go all the way back to when you started as a paper boy. Probably don't need to go that far back. But, you know, at least give people the last 10 to 15 years at least of your working life and let them see your journey and how you progressed as well. Put your education in there. So when I mentioned earlier on your name about putting all your doctorates up there and all the different things, then you just, you know, make sure all your information's in there. All the doctorates you may have, your MBAs, all of that stuff is there so people can see what your education is. It builds that credibility, who you are and what you're talking about and where you talk from is because that's your background. Skills and endorsements come below there. If you can get people to endorse you and your skills, it's all great. It adds in. Here's one thing though, the endorsements on LinkedIn, they're a good tool to use, and we'll talk about that in another webinar another day. They don't have a lot of meaning because a lot of people use them for various reasons. I get endorsed by people I've never met. And it may look good for vanity on there, but the truth is it doesn't have a lot of weight or credibility other than it's nice to see them mentioned. So again, it adds into who you are. At least people that do, I've got a number of people obviously who do know me there that are named that have done me for event management, which was an old role that I used to do. So we've got, what is about around 15 minutes left. So one important thing I want to finish on is a lot of people make the mistake on LinkedIn is they don't lock up their LinkedIn account. What do I mean by that? Well, I can tell you right now, if you haven't locked up your account, I can come and visit your account even before I'm connected to you, and I could have a little look through your connections. And so if you turn out to be one of my competitors and you haven't locked up your account, I can have a look at your connections and start sending connection requests off to potentially your clients. And then 3 months down the line, you'll be wondering where all your clients went. It's because I'm now talking to them and offering my services to them. See, this can happen and is happening to people day in and day out on LinkedIn. So let me show you how to lock up your account, and then we'll finish with some questions. So let me go to my LinkedIn account. Okay, so if you go up to your profile picture, just click on, go to your settings and privacy. Once you get into there, go to visibility. And when you're in visibility, go to who can see your connections. Click on, let me just move that up, and change it to only you. And then close. It's as simple as that. Now what you've done is you've locked down your connections. So people, when they come in, now they can't see your connections. It makes it impossible for people to get in and start rifling around and pulling away your clients. And it's one of the big things that happens on LinkedIn all the time. I do it all the time. I've got to be honest. You go find your competitors, you have a little look down, who they're doing business with. Oh, that's a nice, tasty client. I wouldn't mind having a conversation with them myself. I send a connection request. I'm start interacting with their content and building up a rapport with this individual, and then I start a conversation with them. It's a great way of finding future clients. And so there's a tip you can go and do to other people, but make sure your profile is locked up. Make sure that you've got it secure. If you spend all of the time making sure you've got a great header, a great profile picture, your headline is just fantastic and tells everybody what you can do and deliver for them, but then you haven't secured your account, it's a bit like having the front door open and the traffic's coming in, but it's going out the back door all the time. So lock down your account and make sure you are secure, or else all that good work could be for nothing. So let's have a little look on screen, see if there are any questions. Let's have a quick look. Oh, I can see Jay's been jumping in and answering some questions there. Yeah, as we said, if there's anything from tonight, you want the slides from tonight, you want a link to the replay, whatever it is, email us at hi@maverick.co.uk. Now, just be careful how you spell Maverick, because it's an unusual spelling of it, but hi@maverick.co.uk. It's up on screen. Email us at that address. You can ask for the slides, ask for the replay, and we'll send that stuff to you. Not a problem. We will help where we can. So, have we any last questions for our, what's it, last 10 minutes or so that we've got together? Is this the same for people seeing who have common connections with you? Okay, Dan is asking that question. Is this the same, referring to locking down your connections, the people who can do that? Now, you're testing me now, Dan, because there is another area, and I've got to remember where it is. And what you're referring to is, particularly when you're on a PC or laptop, there's a column that appears on the right-hand side of your profile, and it says people also viewed. So it's basically where you've been looking. And so people can track you and follow you around LinkedIn a little bit by seeing where else you've been looking. You might not be connected with those people yet, but what LinkedIn is doing is wanting everybody to connect. That's the whole purpose of the platform. So it's making suggestions all the time. What you don't want is for people to be getting those suggestions and following and poaching potential clients before you've had a chance to get there. Now, I'm going to test myself and see if I can remember where it is. Dun, dun, dun. Where are you? Is it in account preferences? Let's have a quick look. There we go. In account preferences, go to people also viewed and just change it to no, and it will turn that off. So you can lock down your account, but you can also lock down the suggested box on the side, which is basically suggesting people that you've already visited. So someone visits your profile and it tells them who else you've been having a look at. And you might not be connected with them yet. Most of them will be second or third degree connections, but it would suggest them. So lock that down and that box will disappear. So that was to account preferences and into people also viewed, change to no. Simples. Right, let's have a look. What questions we got? I've got, we use personalized headers, which I create for all employees, but change these every 3 months for 120 people is a bit much. Suggest anything to help or anything else to do instead. Francis, if obviously you're dealing with that many people, you may want to go for a more corporate branded header. So that you're all delivering similar information. Now, we've worked with companies where they have, let's say, 4 or 5 different facets to their business. And so what they'll have done is created 4 or 5 different headers, and depending which section or division you work in that company, that's the header that you would use. So just think about the header you want on your profile or your employees' profiles is advertising, marketing, the services that you can provide. It's talking about what you can do or what they can direct people to on their profile. Failing that, go for a more generic overview of the company. So if you visit some of the larger corporations, you'll see that a lot of their profiles have quite a generic right across the board, but it tells you about the company, maybe the company's slogans and different things about them. But just make sure it's delivering the right information. That's the important side. The right information is what you want to be doing. So let me have a quick look. We got anything else? Right, let me just switch around again. Okay, so just to end, let's have a look. Hang on, what was that? What are your thoughts on TikTok and LinkedIn and using them together? Obviously, this is slightly going off the thing, but TikTok and LinkedIn are 2 different audiences. So whoever you use or wherever you go on any social media platform, the reason for being there is because there's an audience for your product or service. So if you have an audience or you think you've got an audience on TikTok, then use it. Go wisely. There's a lot of buzz around TikTok at the moment. It's predominantly a young audience on there, but that could change in the next few months. There's a lot of talk of TikTok extending the length of their video to 3 minutes, to a maximum of 3 minutes, which means then that you could have mini tutorial videos, which there's a lot of how-to stuff on TikTok at the moment, and that could expand. So the audience on TikTok could expand as well and grow. Let me think about what we got. That's what we got every 3 months. Okay, so Francis, so you're right. So Francis was just saying, yeah, do you need to change them every 3 months just a way to freshen up a profile? Yeah, keep your profiles fresh. Don't just make a profile on LinkedIn and let's say you did it 4 or 5 years ago and it's still exactly the same today. Keep it fresh, keep it up to date. Try changing, I haven't got it on the screen at the moment, but try changing your headline from time to time. We will change our headlines probably about as frequently as we would change the headers. And we'll make sure that we're still delivering the same information, but we'll say it in different ways. We use different keywords in there. And depending on the projects or the direction we're taking our business or the industries that we want to tap into, we will change the wording in our headline and other areas in our bio and throughout our profile to make sure that we get to the target audience that we're after. Okay. Thank you for your questions, Francis. That's been fantastic tonight. Any last questions? We've got a few more minutes left. The information about the accelerator that I mentioned earlier is there on the screen, and we can make that available to you if you're interested in that. The accelerator is a fantastic program. I'm going slightly off topic here, but I'm a big fan and a bit of evangelist for the accelerator because we created this whole program probably less than a year ago. It's really morphed into something. And we've got a whole bunch of people. I think there's nearly 50 people currently on this, and the success they're seeing is phenomenal. It's a 90-day program. It does involve some work. You've got to get involved and really jump in both feet if you want the success out of this, but it's really worth the investment. So if you're in the position and you're watching this tonight and you're thinking, I really do need to increase the sales in my business, consider the accelerator. If you want to know more information, email us, let's set up a call, or use, the link to schedule a call that's on the slide. And we'd be great to have that conversation. There's no commitment. Let's have a conversation. Let's see how we can help you, and that would be great. Any last questions from anywhere? Let's have a quick look. Is having an SSI score over 60 any good, and what should we be aiming for? Joanne, do you want me to be really honest about SSI? Here it comes. Don't bother. Don't bother. It's a great indicator if you're just starting out on LinkedIn. That's about it. But once you're established and you've got things going, the SSI index really has no relevance. It becomes a vanity figure, to be honest. I'll be as cruel as that. So don't take too much notice on it because you can get fixated on it. What you want to be doing on LinkedIn, the real success you want on LinkedIn is how many conversations are you converting from the content that you're posting on the platform? How many people are you connecting with who are your target audience then that you can then nurture through liking and commenting on their content and starting conversations, initiating conversations? How many of those can you nurture forward into a full-on conversation about your business proposition? That's the success that you want on LinkedIn. The SSI, it's great. It's a good indicator at the beginning, whether it's this, that, and the other. I was with we were doing in tandem with somebody else very recently and some training, and one of the statistics used was SSI. And so I looked at my SSI for the first time in probably well over a year, just out of curiosity. And mine was quite high. All the numbers are quite high. You're first in this and top 3 in this and blah, blah, blah. And I had somebody else who, they use the SSI as their like baseline and all the rest of it. And they were quite low, and I was quite surprised because I expected them to be much higher than me. So I'm not sure how LinkedIn wants to put it together or what value it has, but we've never taken much notice of it because at the end of the day, it's about the conversations that you generate from the platform that get you the new business that you're after. Okay. Banner messages is not searchable. What's that? Describing the headline is, could you suggest more tips on finding keywords that work on LinkedIn? So Sanjay, think about if you are the individual who's doing a search in which you want to be found, what would be the keywords that they are likely to use? So obviously, in our particular industry where we're doing digital sales training, obviously digital sales, social selling, sales enablement, all of those sort of keywords would come into play. So we'll weave them into our profile at some point or another. You need to do a little bit of try and see. It's a little bit of experimenting to get the right keywords right. I'll be honest, when I first started, it probably took me a couple of months to really get to the point of what are the keywords, rewriting my profile to make sure the right people were finding me and coming to my profile. So important thing is make a start. Just make a start. You've got to do it. Don't just sit back thinking, what are all the keywords? Write something, get that profile up, go for it, and then tweak as you go. Tweak it as you go is the best advice. Let's have a quick look. We've just got 1 minute left. Should you have a company page as well as an individual page? Yes, absolutely yes. Another topic, but a lot of the principles I talked tonight about your header, about the picture, which on the company page is your company icon, but the name and the headline, the similar principles exist on your company page. So make sure that is set up. If you're a sole trader, have a company page because it authenticates you as an individual. When people come to a page that they see that's been set up well, all the information is there, it's all looking good, you're all delivering it well, then it gives you some credibility as well. And if, let's say I do it all the time, and I know people who search me, when they search me as an individual, they're just seeing me. Until they hit the company page, they have no idea that I'm a part of a bigger organization. And there's a whole team of us that do training. At that point, suddenly their perspective changes. Okay, now there's a whole army of people, there's a team of people behind me as well that can help deliver what we promise to our clients. And should you share posts and just comment on them? So I'm not sure. You need a company page and a credibility point of view, but generally the company page is just for this. You can post a lot of great content on your company page about your products and services, which you might not want to do all the time on your personal page because you just bore people if it's just business, business, business on your personal page. It's another webinar about content, and I think we've got that coming up beginning of actually 2 weeks' time. 2 weeks' time. Come along to the content webinar. You'll learn a lot more about that. So I'll save that for that one if you want to come along. Last one. I'm getting signals from our team to start wrapping up. I just want to make sure we've answered everybody's questions. Yeah, so what's that one? On the other post, is it better to... Like TV. Commenting on other posts is a better shout than sharing, and then keep posts to your own content rather than shared from other people. On LinkedIn, unique, your original content should be posted. Don't keep sharing other people's stuff. You don't get any value from it. They get the value from it, not you. So share your own original content. The algorithm will actually favor you for that as well. And I think that's great. I can see, if anybody's wondering who Jay Unwin is, he's one of our staff members. So if he's answering your questions in the chat tonight, thanks, Jay. Thanks for your help. He's a great guy. Get in touch with Jay. Find him on LinkedIn. He's a great guy. Okay, I'm going to wrap up there. Before I do, though, remember the accelerator. We would love to have you guys a part of this accelerator. We would love to work with you to make sure that your sales are growing and boosting. We know that a lot of people in the last 12 months have really struggled to keep their businesses just afloat. Well, we're in a different position with the people who are on the accelerator. They're not just afloat. Some of these people are absolutely soaring to the point, and this is an honest boast, we've got some clients who came on and within just 1 or 2 weeks secured deals of 1.5 million through what they learned on the accelerator. And we will help you put together, we'll help you, I could go into a whole sales pitch about this, but what I'm going to say is just give us a call. Come and find out more about it. We'll gladly have a conversation with you. Let's make it a discovery call and let's see if Maverick can help you. Okay? So, I think that's it. I think it's everything. We've done everything. Hopefully covered everybody's questions. Remember, hi@maverick.co.uk. You got any questions about anything, you want the slides tonight or a replay, whatever it is, and come and find us on LinkedIn. Come and find me, Terry Heath, on LinkedIn. Come and find the rest of the staff at Maverick and the team. We're generous with our time. We'll help where we can. So please get in touch, and we'll see you on the next webinar. Thank you.